Okay, so I definitely want to start by saying thank you for 5,000 subscribers, and that number is still going up. And so that's what led me to make this little poll right here. Thanks for 5,000 subscribers. I think this calls for something special to celebrate. Do y'all want a Q&A video? If so, leave your questions as a comment on this post. Now, we did get quite a few questions, and thankfully, things weren't going so well at the first glance, because there was like a ton of people saying yes and like 0 questions, and so you can't make a Q&A video without questions, so keep that in mind next time if you click yes. Anyways, for the questions we did get, I am going to now answer all of them. So, first we'll start with ChristianChan97, who asks, if you ever plan to travel in the future, where would you go and why? One place I'd like to see, that's at least just one country away in the United States, is probably Sacramento, California. And there's quite a lot that happens there. It's the capital of California. It's also home to a lot of old railroad history, and plus California has a lot of railroad history in general. And as a rail fan, it seems like a pretty fun place to me. I've seen what you can actually expect from there. There's this YouTuber called Mobile Rail Spotter RXR, who I've been watching for years, even before I had my YouTube channel, and gave me a good insight as to what it's like there. And I really like it for what it contains, and plus it's not too far from Silicon Valley, so a lot of tech there. Definitely a good place to work. Okay, so IDKKKK, and he's asked quite a few questions, but his first one that pops up on the list is, what do you think about power-ups in Angry Birds? Are they good, or do you feel that the game would look better without them? Honestly, I really like the power-ups, and I would have been happy if they even were added in like the first release of the game. I don't think they take away unless you purely want to test out your skill, and you just want to see how well you can do it without. Yeah, I don't want to call it cheating, since it's actually something that's a part of the game that even Rovio endorses, especially when Angry Birds Facebook came out. So I don't think they're bad. I just the only thing that I find a bit of a drawback is, well, you have to spend actual money, and the only way you can get free ones is just by coming back every day to get new power-ups. So overall, a nice addition for the game. Okay, so Bono, I think I'm reading that right, with a smiley face. Are you going to do more tutorials about modding, like adding custom backgrounds to AB Classic 1.0.0? Yes, I will do more tutorials. Of course, if everything is fine and I don't have anything clogging up extra time for making tutorials, then by all means, I don't see why not. Okay, Aluka GamesEN, who's asked a few other questions, but not nearly as many as IDKKKK. The first one that appears on this list is, sorry if I asked too many questions, but did you know that AB Star Seasons, which I've reviewed before on the channel, is rated mature on Game Jolt? And do you agree? Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Mitsuki's Animation asks, my question, is there an Angry Birds Trilogy PC port that has already been made by someone? As far as I know, no. The only way you can really get it is using an emulator and downloading the ROM image and loading it there. Okay. Nick the Angry Birds asks, I have a question. Can you tell me how to change the icons in Angry Birds version 1.0.0? You get this program called Resource Hacker, and once you installed that, you open Resource Hacker and drag the executable into Resource Hacker. You should see something called Icon Group. You can just simply replace that icon with the icon of your choice. Okay, another one from IDKKKK. What's your favorite version of Angry Birds Classic? Mine is 5.0.1. I'm gonna go with 1.6.3. mainly because that was the first PC version I actually started playing, and so it's what I remember the game by the most. And I started playing that version back in 2011. I can't believe that was that long ago. Over 10 years ago. Time flies. Okay, another from Aluka Games. The end. What do you think about the AB remaster by Rovio? I think it was a bit rushed, kind of like how Microsoft rushed Windows Millennium Edition a bit too quickly. The one I tried, we got a lot of sound glitches where it causes sounds to play at a lower speed or lower pitch, and that's definitely out of the ordinary for Angry Birds. And plus, there are levels that just seem to not be completable or have a hard time getting 3 stars simply because the physics engine is different. Now, I imagine Rovio will eventually address this in the future, but for now, if we're talking about it, what I think of it from this current release needs some work. Would have been nice if they had like a beta, like a public beta, so at least people wouldn't be so harsh and they just give their feedback. But yeah, that's what we got. Quote unquote release with bugs in it. Okay, another one from IDKKKK. Are you really the first ever Angry Birds modder? No, I'm not. As a matter of fact, this has been a topic that has existed for many years, much longer than the Angry Birds Seasons series modding hub has existed. As a matter of fact, people have been trying to mod the game as far back as a few months after it released, back in like 2010. First mods being trying to change the levels in the game. Rick Cartoon asks, opinions on the French Revolution? Here are mine. French fries were a big revolution. Yeah, I agree with what you say, especially if you include them with some vinegar. At least that's what we do up here in Canada. We use vinegar as a way of giving the French fries a bit of flavor. So that is revolutionary. Okay, so TA, he just gave a compliment. So we're moving on to the next question. IDKKKK asks again, what's your favorite Angry Birds game is why? And why? Mine is Seasons. Depends on the mood I'm in. If I'm feeling nostalgic, I'll probably say Angry Birds Chrome, specifically from 2011, because that's what I was introduced to, and so it's probably the earliest times I can recall from being much younger and playing that game. So I actually tried out the Chrome version essentially before I tried the PC version, mainly because, well, the Chrome version does not come at a cost. Okay, another question by him. What's your favorite Angry Birds season? I want to say the ones that have like really nice music to it. I really like South America has like a very beautiful theme, as well as I want to get something as far as aesthetics goes. I'd probably go for Winter Wonderham. It's really captures that very North Pole like theme even with the Aurora Borealis. It's awesome. Okay, what is your favorite year? Mine is 2014. My favorite year probably would be the year just before that. This is because it's when I was younger. Like that, at the time, I was only like 8 years old. I had a lot of fond memories of being at a campsite where we did not live too far from railway tracks, and I was always a big train fan, even now. And so one thing I remember from a lot was going with my dad just to do these called train chases, because there was a road that just happened to be parallel to the tracks and we could just follow the trains that way. And it was a fun time. We would also just watch them pass by at a static location, and I consider that my favorite year. So Arthumo has asked a question in Portuguese, and I believe this translates to what comes after 47, and I'm gonna go with B, A, K. E29 Zone Channel asks, how do you first know about Angry Birds and PvZ? Um, Angry Birds I found out because my dad actually happened to be playing it and he introduced me to it, and I was instantly hooked. But as for PvZ, I simply discovered the Flash Edition by chance, and later on we got the full game. IDKKKK again asks, what do you think about French fries? They're tasty, yes. I wonder what other kind of potatoes you could actually use for making French fries. I've tried the sweet potato French fries before. Not bad, actually. It's a different approach. So I think any potato will do, really. I try not to be picky when it comes to food that's like rich in carbs like that, because it all tastes good. It all tastes the same, really. Only difference is your imagination. Okay, the Default Pro asks, what do you think about Friday Night Funkin' and its community? It's kind of like any other big game. It starts off what looks like good, and then it becomes like kind of like how Among Us got taken over. You got like the big YouTubers playing it, and then all the toxic kids playing it, and then the people that just genuinely want to play it, they get the game ruined for them essentially. And so it's not something for me. But if it is for you, have at it. I'm not stopping you. It's a free world. Well, at least in places where freedom exists. Hopefully that applies to your country. If not, I feel sorry. Fan guy Alheimer Marin. I cannot read that. It's very lettery, but he asks, or she asks, I don't know, or whatever your gender is, what is the secret of happiness? See the secret meaning of life. That should give you an insight. Neon Plays asks, what is the worst Angry Birds game in your opinion? Definitely Angry Birds Blast, simply because it's just a copy and paste of a lot of other popular, connect them up together and make a match sort of game, rather than the classic slingshot action everyone knew Rovio for making popular. And so when they're just copying other stuff, that ruins the uniqueness to the brand, and that's what people don't like about it. That boy Luigi asks, favorite Angry Birds game, including web games? Well, I did KKKK, I believe, asked something similar to this, but I guess I can give my other response. I'll do like a lot of web games, mainly because they are like a whole different Angry Birds essentially, and they're typically based on Angry Birds Chrome or Angry Birds Facebook engines, and I just like them because it's something different for a change, yeah. Like I remember Angry Birds Volcano, Angry Birds Vuelatazos, then there's also Angry Birds Pistachios, lots of fun. Okay, another from IDKKKK. What do you think about Kit Kat? Pretty good. I believe I once had a cake that used Kit Kats. I love them. Paul Su So, I believe that's how that letter is pronounced. It's like a W sound. My question, what are you from? Where are you from? I am from Canada, born in the city of Ottawa. Of course, I don't actually live there right now, but that is where I'm from. I've been to the United States, by the way. IDKKKK asks, what inspired you to name your channel XXXman360? Actually, it was when me and my mom were deciding a name for my Roblox character, and I don't know how we actually got around to that, but it stuck, and I like the name so much, I basically made everything use that name. Aluka Games ZN asks, what do you think about Five Nights at Freddy's? If you asked me when I was younger, I probably could tell you a lot, because I used to just, read up and watch fan animations about it. I mean, it's just, I think a lot of kids would do the same, especially since, well, it's meant to take place at, like, it's like a Chuck E. Cheese style restaurant, essentially. I certainly, like, when I gave it a try, I actually, would enjoy playing it at first. And of course, when I was younger, I'd be too scared to keep going, and I didn't make it to the final night just by normal means. I would just hack and use cheat engine and speed things up. IDKKKK does not have a question here. Okay, so now we are down to our final two questions. RX Matt Cat Railfan asked if you visited California, where would you railfan, and who would you railfan with? Just tie us back to one of the earlier questions. I would go to Sacramento, California, and I would railfan with pretty much. I'd railfan with people with my age, but any popular Sacramento YouTubers, I don't see why not, really. After all, they'd be pretty well known. I think they're acceptable. So yeah, that would be something to consider when the time comes, of course. I have a question. Alright, what is it? So Quarter Pounder Boy 500 Gamer asks, are you going to review the Angry Birds Power Trouble 1.3.0? Only if someone submits it to fan files. So that's pretty much how I review software, and that's pretty much why I say you can put in anything, because I won't mind whatever it is as long as it's executable, not required by third-party means. And so that wraps up all our questions for our Q&A. It was quite fun looking at them and seeing the new ones coming in. And of course, if I ever have another big milestone and you would like to see this happen again, don't hesitate to ask your questions, because I would be more than happy to answer them. So that is all, and thank you for watching.